Hello everybody and welcome back to another new video on the channel. Today we're talking about the newest episode of Boruto, and for a while today, because it came out yesterday, today is Monday, and this might come out Tuesday or really late tonight because it's almost 9 o'clock, and I feel bad for doing that because I was really procrastinating wanting to watch this episode because I wasn't sure if it was going to be like any good whatsoever. You know, I wasn't sure what they were gonna do because last week's episode I didn't think it was like all that great. I feel like it could have been a little bit more than what we were given. But I guess if you look into it and like more of a deeper meaning, then it's like, yeah, I guess you can kind of like say like it was actually a good episode. But that wasn't what I was really anticipating, or I guess, or just something else. I just didn't like the episode, right? And then this episode came out, and then after the opening, the episode starts off with a dream sequence, and depending on your opinion on dream sequences, they could either be really good or really bad. This one is basically fucking pointless in my opinion. The dream sequence that Boruto has as he's unconscious for the entirety of the episode, in real time, until the end of the episode, in my opinion, is in reality just kind of pointless, in my opinion. But I understand why it's there in a story and context and plot reasonings as to why it is there. And that's because literally just before Boruto was knocked unconscious, his friend literally betrayed him and attacked him as he basically deserted the village to go and look for his friend because he believed that he was innocent and something happened, and then all of a sudden he gets attacked by his friend, his best friend. I guess you can say Mitsuki's more Boruto's best friend. His best friend is like, this is my will. I chose to go with these guys. Don't follow me. Fuck off, right? That's basically what he says, right? In layman's terms, that's not exactly what he says. So the episode starts with a dream sequence. It starts off like how it did like a few weeks back whenever the arc was like first starting, or just before Mitsuki left, or the episode that Mitsuki did leave. Right? Boruto and Sarada are waiting for Mitsuki to show up because he's late, and then he ends up showing up very shortly after. And then the episode immediately cuts to Shikadai and Sarada, and they're looking at the Boruto because obviously he's unconscious, and they're just kind of wondering like what happened, like what's going on with Mitsuki? Why did he do this? Why did he do that? Why is he going with these guys? Why is this happening? Yada yada yada. Shikadai had Chocho and Inojin kind of look out for any potential danger because they're still pretty much like at the border or in the land of Earth where the main antagonists of the arc are currently at. Lord Ku and his like other guys like Sakie, and the other guy, I actually kind of forgot his name. Sakie is the only name I remember so far, and that's kind of surprising. So those two are going, looking out, just surveying the land. Stuff is just not really happening. All of a sudden they hear like ruffles and like grass, bushes and whatever. Chocho tells Inojin to kind of go check it out. He goes over and checks it out, and before this actually happened, there was a shot of like an Akuta like resurfacing back up, like recreating itself again. It ends up showing back up. It kind of attacks, quote unquote, Inojin, but it doesn't actually attack him. It kind of just is playing around with him because this Akuta is like significantly smaller and a lot more childlike. And in my opinion, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, this is the best part of the fucking episode. The Akuta, this little like Akuta like child-ish version, is the best part of the episode because there's a lot more meaning behind why it kind of exists, in my opinion. Maybe I'm just looking at it away, or maybe I'm going way more in depth than I probably should for it, but for some reason, in my opinion, this is just the best thing about the episode. So it's like a little like child, like toddler, not toddler, but adolescent, right? And it's kind of like playing around with Inojin, and the episode continues on, and Inojin is put on guard for this Akuta because they don't know if it's dangerous. They don't know if it could just suddenly come and attack them. Because remember, the Akuta were created to kind of like to attack others, right? And they were attacking, fighting these motherfuckers in previous episodes. So they don't know what this one's capable of. And then the episode decides to have a part of it where the Akuta and Inojin are kind of interacting with each other, and some stuff happens before in the dream sequence kind of like stuff, but basically it's just Garaga and like a dream sequence with Boruto, and stuff is happening. Boruto's just getting chased after, but that's not really important until later on. So we go back to the Akuta and Inojin, and it's just really innocent, and it's just kind of it's taking a liking to Inojin for some reason, either because it's the first member of the group that it met, or just some reason, right? It's just really drawn towards Inojin for some reason. It doesn't want to leave despite how dangerous and unwilling Inojin is wanting it to stick around. They kind of mess around with it a little bit. There's a little bit of a little bit of humor between the two of them, but eventually Inojin starts creating the birds from his Super B scroll. He creates them, and Yakuza kind of sees them as a threat after it kind of annoyed him, and he starts attacking them. Destroys them. Inojin creates a couple more. Yakuza destroys them all again, and then a little bunny rabbit shows up right behind him, and Yakuza starts to attack him. And Inojin jumps right in front of the bunny to stop the attack because I'll get into the reasoning behind it, but something I actually want to point out really quick is that this Akuta from all the other ones has a significant difference from its design. A, it's shorter. B, it's one of its arms is longer than the others. But the most important one of it is that the mask is kind of damaged in a way. Like its left eye, like eye socket kind of ish looking thing, where like its little red eye is supposed to be right. It's damaged in a way, and maybe that's the reason why this one is kind of like the way it is in the first place. But obviously this one is kind of adolescent-ish. It's really childish. And the Akuta were basically created to not have any feelings. They're not supposed to have any remorse. They're not supposed to be able to feel anything. They're only meant to be created. They're meant to be created simply for, offensive and defensive. They're not meant to feel anything. They're just meant to, destroy, it seems like, right? So the Akuta goes after the little bunny rabbit, and Inojin jumps in and stops the attack, right? And then Inojin he starts like drawing on the ground of the Akuta and the bunny, and he says, you probably wouldn't understand, but life is precious. And that's the reason why I say this is the best part of the episode, because the Akuta, like I said, are just meant to destroy. They're not really meant to feel anything. But if you remember a couple episodes back, with the two Akuta that were following Mitsuki, Sakie, and the other guy, one of them was slowing down and it almost seemed like he wouldn't last any longer. One of the members kills him, and as they're preparing to start returning back to the land of Earth, the Akuta that was still living actually went back to his friend's remains and kind of seemed really upset and really sad about it. Which means that the Akuta do have feelings, besides, regardless of whether or not they're actually humanoid. Because it's been hinted at, and that's most likely the case, but Sakie and his other friends in his little gang or whatever, and the other antagonists of the arc, right? They're all based from the Akuta, and then they were made more humanoid, basically just more humanoid-ish, And so the Akuta are supposed to be the kind of base start version of it. And it almost seems like they're not meant to feel anything, and that's basically fucking it. But for some reason, this one and even a couple of the other ones do feel something. For some reason, they do feel something. They have feelings. They have remorse for stuff. And overall, they act very human. And that's the reason why I think this one with Inojin and the others is going to be kind of important in later on in a couple episodes, because of just simply that. And that's the reason why I say that's the best part of the episode, because we get to see the perspective of something that's been created, have a perspective of not knowing a lot of information and not knowing and having to feel like how humans are supposed to feel, which is why Sakie is so interested in Mitsuki because Mitsuki is humanoid. He's kind of like them in the sense of he was created and so were they, but he's more humanoid. He feels more human emotions. And they're really curious about that, or at least he is, and they want to be more like that. And that's the reason why Mitsuki went with them in the first place, because he doesn't know the feelings that he has for Boruto and the others, and why he's doing all these things, for Orochimaru, and why he went to the Leaf Village in the first place. He doesn't know if they're real or not, but all the others can kind of see that those weren't really created. He feels like that because he really feels like that. But Mitsuki doesn't know, and that's why he went with them in the first place, to get answers, so that he can know that these aren't just made up. They weren't implemented in his head. He actually felt this way. And the episode continues on. It's the dream sequence. Mitsuki is not really acting himself. Boruto catches on. Boruto is then in like the realm kind of ish area where him and Garaga are kind of talking to each other. Garaga saying like, oh, he wants to eat him, and then finally he pretty much just says, to Boruto, like, you don't understand how it feels to be betrayed. You never understood that. You do not know how you're supposed to feel. Garaga knows how Boruto should be feeling right now, and Boruto just straight up just doesn't understand, right? Right? He doesn't understand how he's supposed to be feeling. He's never felt this way before. He's never felt betrayed. Garaga, though, he has been betrayed. He was betrayed by his old summoning master and by his other old friends, and he understands that, and he had to go through that, and now he understands it a lot more. Boruto doesn't. The closest that he's gotten to that in a similar-ish way, it seems like, was back in during the whole like event with Momoshiki, but that was basically it. This is the first time that this has happened, and in my opinion, this is one of the few reasons as to why people don't like Boruto. It's because Boruto has everything going for him. He's a prodigy. He knows the Vanishing Rasengan, the base Rasengan. He has this dojutsu. He's just a child fucking prodigy like Sasuke, right? And he has a family who loves him. He has a ton of friends that love him. Everybody in the village basically doesn't fucking hate him. They may find him annoying because of how he acts, but he doesn't have a whole village going against him just because, right? Naruto did have that. He had nothing going from him. He was basically fucking pointless and couldn't really even do one fucking jutsu. The whole village hated him because he had kurama inside of his fucking body. He didn't have a family. He didn't have any friends. He had literally nothing going for him. And that's what drawed the audience closer to Naruto, because the series takes place with him growing more as a person and him as a shinobi. He becomes stronger. He grows people closer to him, and he gets more people to follow right behind him, regardless of how he acts or not. Sometimes Naruto can act really annoying, but that doesn't matter. They don't follow him because he's annoying or some shit. They follow him because they care about him, and they want to be with him through and through, no matter what. Boruto already has that going for him, so this whole series, and what's supposed to lead in the beginning of episode 1 is supposed to be Boruto when he has everything and then he loses it. And Boruto finally understands the feeling of betrayal. That's the whole point of the dream sequence in the episode. He finally understands it. Boruto, basically just diminishes it like it's nothing. And the rest of the episode is basically them getting ready to go to Hidden Stone Village and get Mitsuki back and take him to the Leaf Village. And that's actually pretty much at the end of the episode. The next episode is them infiltrating the Stone Village, and they're basically just going to go ask around, information, and most specifically, Onoki. They think Onoki's going to do something for them. I don't know what Onoki's supposed to be doing in the first place in the next episode, but hopefully it should be a little bit more interesting. And maybe I went into a little bit more depth than I thought I was going to for this episode, but if you kind of are curious as to kind of some of the subliminal meanings for this episode are supposed to be, maybe that's it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you have a different opinion about it. Just let me know in the comments. Maybe let me know if you agree with me or not. I'm actually very curious. But regardless, I think I took a little bit too much of your time for today, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video. If you did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Overall, I think this episode was actually, pretty okay. The little like adolescent Akuta was like the best part of the episode because a lot of like other meanings. But I think I actually find this episode a lot more enjoyable now that I've described like all the dream sequence stuff, like not even off of a script, just off of my head. With Boruto and how the series is supposed to lead to. But it's not there yet. But whatever. If you enjoy, leave a like. If you're new, subscribe. I'll see you guys next one. Have a fantastic day. I'm out. Peace.